Hello, welcome to today's training. I'm Brian Wood, owner of Engineering Mastery Academy. Today's training is on project management tools. This is day 3. Today I'm going to be going over a tool that I created. I actually created it for a different purpose, and one of the reasons that the tool wasn't quite ready is because I didn't appreciate that there are some changes that I needed to make in the tool to use it for project management. That said, should be an excellent tool for those who want to use it for managing small projects. You can actually use it for managing larger projects, but you might want to wait for the upgraded tool for large projects. So let's get right to it. Hopefully everybody's seeing my screen now. Let me zoom in a little bit. I can read a little bit better. So this tool has 3 tabs. Activity is the first tab, then assignment, and then a Gantt chart that feeds into. Now, before I go into the tool itself, why would you want a tool to track activities? We already have a Gantt chart. Why do you need anything more? In some situations, you don't need anything more. On the high-level management side, they don't want to see anything more. All they want is the Gantt chart. But if you're working on a lower level, trying to coordinate everybody's activities, trying to make sure deliverables are in on time, on a lower level than the high-level management Gantt chart, then you're going to want something like this, whether you use an automated tool as I've created, or you're just taking down your own list and manually working through it. I created this because I had a list of activities for myself and others, not specifically project management, but it was team activities. I wanted a place to capture all the team members' activities related to the particular project. So moving on, we have on this first tab, we come over to activity, we have the date. Let me zoom in a little bit. We have over here the date that the assignment was made. Let's fill in this at 8/19. I'm going to give a new assignment. I've set the date up for international. I prefer short date, but since we have international people viewing this, I don't want to confuse people between month and day, since I think a lot of us are aware that the U.S. Oh my gosh, pardon me. The U.S. swaps month and day versus how most of the U.K. and Europe does. So anyway, so you have the date field, you have a process. I'll go over the list in a second. I'm going to teach you a little bit about how Excel works today. But I have a list. For this example, I have processes of product design, process documentation, product release, MPI transfer, and that would be new product introduction from design to manufacturing, and training. Those are the processes that I've identified for this sample. So let's say we're starting right at the beginning. We need to do product design. This next column, category, some people will find this very useful, some people will find it no use at all. You don't have to do anything with category. But for this, I have categories of, is it an individual activity or is it a team activity? Or you could do, is it something you do independently? I'm sorry, is the action itself independent from other actions, or does it just have dependencies? You can I'll show you later how to adjust these lists to fit your needs. Again, depending on how you use this tool, you may or may not have any use for category. So let's say product design, let's say this is an individual activity, and this action is to, let's say, decide on the tool length, let's say the product length. Decide on product length. Okay, so here on this list, you can write down all the activities that are needed before anybody's been assigned to them, before you know when they're going to get done, anything else. You can just identify what is needed on this first tab. So additionally, I'm going to set this status as pending review. You see I have pending review, back burner, or assigned. You can also do completed or abandoned. And like all other lists, you can change these statuses to reflect how you want them to be. The assigned to, I just used some silly names here. I say Snoopy, Charlie, P. Patty, Linus, Sally. So I'm going to say Snoopy is going to be assigned to this. I'm sorry, it's pending review. No, I'm sorry, nobody is assigned to it yet. So there's no assignment. And then comments is just a text field if you want to capture any other information about it. That might be roadblocks you see. This might be dependencies that aren't as easy to see at a glance. So after that, you've got this entered. We look over assignment. I'm going to update this. This is part of the changes I was making last minute. It says action decide on product length. Normally the action, once I've upgraded it, will not show on the list until it's actually been assigned. So as you see, there's nothing else is filled out here except status and action. Both of these will be blank in the future until it's been assigned. So let's go back and assign it. Now we say assigned, I'm going to assign it to Snoopy. And it's not working right. I'll get this fixed beforehand. The idea here, and the way it will work, is you have the action, which is pulled over from the first tab, the owner is pulled over from the first tab, and the status is pulled over from the first tab. So that first activity tab is where you're going to track all of your status of how things are going. The deliverable. This will be something you have to decide on based on what the activity is. Decide on product length. So I'm going to say deliverable here is a specification on product length. Here's also where you'll assign completion. So let's say we need to start this. Well, actually, we don't know the weeks, do we? What week of the year are we in? Some people know that, some people don't. This is where I'm going to show you a little bit about Excel. I have a hidden tab in here where all my lists are kept. If I come down here to the tabs, right-click on one of the tabs, go to Unhide, you'll see I have this hidden sheet called Lists. So I'm going to say, okay, list aside. I'm going to say, okay, Unhide Lists. And on my Lists tab, I have the week of the year, the week number, and then what the starting date is, the Monday, I believe it is, of that week. And I have for 52 weeks in the year. So I would go to this, and let's see, product length. Oh, we need to have the product length known by the end of next week. So let's say today's the 8/19. The end of next week. Okay, actually these are on Fridays. So these are Sundays. So the end of the Sunday for next week is actually going to be the 21st. So I want to put 34. I'll explain why I use 34 instead of 35 in a moment. I'm going to want to put 34 in. I want the Sunday of the week it's due, the first Sunday, not the Sunday at the end of that week. So let's put in 34 for the start week. And duration I have here is 0, so tell me the end weekend. So let's say that the duration is going to be, it's going to take 2 days to determine how long this thing should be. Oh, okay, well now I'm not going to finish until the 36th, therefore I need to do something earlier. Now since we're doing on weeks, not days, I actually entered the wrong thing here. This would be 1 week, 2 days, right? Round up to 1 week, which is going to say we're going to end 1 week late, we'd have the start week there. So we can come back over here and say 33. That way we're going to end on the proper week. Now this gives you a double buffer. For something that's less than a week, it forces a start 1 week early to give you a buffer so that people don't wait for the last second to get things done, or you don't wait for the last second to get things done. In addition, by rounding up rather than putting 0, I can put 0. If it's something I know it's going to take about an hour, then maybe I will put 0. And so the start week and the end week will be the same. If it's going to take a couple of days, then I usually round it up to force myself to get it done 1 week earlier than what I really think I need to get it done. Okay, so now we're going to end on the week 34, which is what we want. Now when we come over to the Gantt chart, this now shows up on our Gantt chart. So this should actually be deliverable instead of activity. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so we have deliverable here. Typoed. Okay. The deliverable, the start week, the duration, and owner. Again, this time I have to adjust. Owner will be pulled in so we see who owns each thing. So I'm going to just manually type in for an example. And we see that, okay, so the week of August 14th is when it's due. It's when it's going to start. And if we change the duration, come back here, change the duration to 15, for example, we're here, okay, it's going to be done, we know then on week 47. Let's change this back to 1. Okay. So now we have in here, and as we add more items, we'll have different owners, we'll have different deliverables, different dates, and everything will show up on our calendar here, on our Gantt chart, to show what's being done and when it needs to be done by. If we want to see who needs to be done things, we can come up here and sort, and we can look at all of Snoopy's action items, right? And it'll show us only what Snoopy's working on. The value of this is you might find yourself or other people on your team assigning themselves more things than what they can get done, or planning to do things in the wrong order if there are dependencies. This gives you an opportunity to look by the owner, to, again, work with individuals on the team to say, you say you're going to start here and here, but you've scheduled everything to happen the last week of the quarter. A lot of people like to do that. They think, okay, well, it doesn't need to be done until the end of the quarter, so I'm just going to schedule everything the last week of the quarter. And if you look at this, you'll see they scheduled themselves 9 days of work to get done in 1 week. So this is my tool. Like I said, I'm going to upgrade this. Maybe I'll do an extra little training on the page or inside the group. I'll probably do it inside the Manufacturing Mastery group, Manufacturing Engineering Mastery group. I'll do another little training once this tool is completely fixed. But for right now, if you have any questions on the tool, any inputs on it, any requests or suggestions of what you think would work better, feel free to shoot me a DM, and as I'm working on the tool, I'll try to incorporate all of the input that I think is good. Also, if you're going to be sharing this with a team, it's a very good idea to come back over here to your Lists tab and go back here and click Hide to hide that tab. Now, one thing you might want to do is that chart of week of the month versus the Sunday of that week. You might want to actually put this in. If I make this a little smaller, you can put this, I had this in right over here, right? You might want to go ahead and paste that in here for easy reference. I'll probably put it back in here. And one last note, the reason that I chose the Sunday at the beginning of the week is if you have a meeting anytime during the week, but especially Monday morning meetings. If you have a Monday meeting for your project, you want to see what's due that week on Monday. You don't want to see what was due last week and say, did we get it done? And if you're doing it anytime during the week, you always want to try to see what is due in the next 7 days, not what has been due. Because if you're always looking at what has been done, depending on your team, you're going to find certain team members who are always a little bit late because they don't actually get to it, even if it's something small, until they're prompted to get to it again. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to cut it off here, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining.